Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tech Chit Chat Show. If you're new here, my name is Ken. You can find me on Northern Viking every day and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I'm here with my awesome co-host Stephen Loney on YouTube and 8-Bit Warrior on Twitter. Good day there, Mr. Stephen. How are you?
Good day, Mr. Ken. I am doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
Good.
I'm doing awesome. Yeah. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Do you have coffee this morning?
I do have coffee.
Cheers
yes.
to you.
Cheers.
I brought my Funko cup.
Whistler I have today. You have fun, Uncle?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a fun show planned for you today. We have some topics, and you can find them all linked in the description below, the show notes or timestamps, so you can jump around if you're watching on the replay. We're going to be chatting a little bit about some changes that may be coming to Twitter, Google Messages, some Android 14 stuff that might affect you, Samsung SSDs, and then we have the Xbox Walkman as well. And you might be going, "What? What is the Xbox Walkman?" Yeah, we'll talk about it in just a little bit. So if you're watching on the replay and you just want to see some of those segments, you can jump around down there.
We won't be offended.
We won't be offended.
Not too much.
But we prefer if you watch everything and enjoy your time with us.
Yeah.
If this is your first time joining us, though, Stephen and I have always loved to talk about tech and go for coffee, and we don't live so close anymore. So we do that here live with you, and we hope that you join in and leave comments in the comment section. We can bring you into your comments up on the screen, and join in on the conversation on Tech Talk. So
yeah.
Your weekend, was it good?
Yeah.
I keep asking this.
Had a good
One day
weekend.
you need to make notes.
I know. I was just thinking here that I actually want to start having a little. Cause what did I do Saturday? It's hard to remember. Saturday, I think I was doing a side programming project I work on. I do a tweening. I work on a tweening tool for Game Maker, and I kind of putz in that stuff. So, but
Nice.
Good weekend. Yeah,
Good.
It was really, really good. How about you?
Good. We had a friend in town, so that was always nice to see him. And then I had to fix the kitchen sink, which was leaking. And then
when the friend comes in town.
No, after he left.
Oh, okay.
And then we had like a family dinner and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, just spending some time, not enough sleep, and the
That's
usual.
fine. That's fine.
That's
We have coffee this morning. We have friendship. We have news.
Coffee fixes the sleep issues. What happens, Stephen, though, when we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah, so at 100, we're at 91 today. So at 100 subscribers with 9 more, we are looking to upgrade our lowly 720p feed to a high 1080p feed, so you can see some more glorious HD stuff. So if you'd like to support this channel, feel free to subscribe and get your families, get your schoolmates, no, I'm just kidding, whatever. But like and subscribe, and if you want to support us and encourage us to keep doing this. So
yeah. And you can log into your friends' accounts and get them to subscribe as well. No, don't do that. But you can tell them to.
I mean, it won't hurt them.
It won't hurt them. That's true. So we've got some fun topics today. Should we just dive right into it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Twitter. I know you love Twitter. You're like a Twitter aficionado.
Kind of, yeah.
You've got your cell phone in your holster on the side with Twitter already loaded up.
Let me see how quick I can do that. Oh no, I'm slow. Hold on, it's connecting. What's going on? Anyways, sorry, I failed. I was gonna try. There it is. Yeah.
Oh, Twitter. Oh, there you go. It's some cartoony character there.
It's actually, yeah. Anyways, we'll skip that. So,
anyway, Twitter. So Mr. Elon, is saying that he may stop forcing you onto the For You timeline and allow you to have the kind of chronological timeline.
Yeah.
What are they calling that one? The chronological one?
Well,
what's it called again?
Right now the tabs are
following.
Yeah, it's For You, which it defaults to, or the other one is Following, which is what I prefer and other people prefer. It's not just it's probably quite a few people who just want I just want to see the people I follow, right? I don't want to see anything else. And so I noticed that I had selected the following tab because it was myself actually. Cody, who our good friend Cody, who watches this, he was wondering why he was just getting like this really weird like stuff through his Twitter feed. Like, he's like, "What's going on?" And he didn't realize that it had shifted, and he was just in the For You tab that was curated for him.
Yeah.
And he was confused. He said it was almost enough to make him quit Twitter of how bad it was until he realized.
It definitely. I'll tell you my story in a second about that. It's not really a story, but how I feel about that in a second. So there is a tweet from Elon Musk. Next Twitter update will remember whether you were on For You, the recommended, or following, or list made. I just botched that. Following our list you made up and stop switching you back to recommended tweets. So basically, it's going to remember whether you're on For You or following, and it's not going to switch you back to For You automatically. So yeah,
That'd be good.
So right now, if I'm on following and I close down Twitter and reopen it, it goes back to For You, which is frustrating. I would agree. I like the chronological. I want to see the updated tweets. Some of the stuff I follow, sports and different things. Yesterday's news that we already all know about. We want to know if what's happening today and what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And the reverse chronological, I think is what they call it, is like everything 1 minute, 2 minute, all the way back through your timeline. And it can be frustrating when you load up Twitter and it's showing you tweets from 2 days ago.
From people you don't know.
Yeah.
And
so,
yeah, I was hoping that it would keep the tab open, and I noticed that it's already caught me off guard. At least a couple times I've been going through and realizing had switched back.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, this seems to be a thing that they really should get it right and not frustrate people. If people want the For You thing, sure. Okay, default to that the first time they go into Twitter and if they like it. But for those of us who don't want it, please don't force us on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, and not just with sports, but or tech. If you want to be on top of the latest news, if you're under For You, it might be yesterday's news.
But some of us don't want the news. I actually don't want news articles. There's certain things I want my Twitter feed to be curated for how I've curated it, and I don't want angry people in my timeline.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's kind of like, and I think it's not just me. I think there's people who just there's a reason why we follow the people we follow, and there's a reason why we're not scrolling through some other social media. We want our own curated thing of people that we.
Well, that's why you follow them, because they're giving you the information or the thoughts that you're after, not who Twitter thinks you should be following. That being said, if you're not sure who to follow, the For You might be a good way for things for you to scroll through once in a while and find people that you might be interested in. But
I
for
agree.
the most part, once you've done that, you'll find.
I agree. I don't want the For You to go away. I want it to be the secondary tab, though. I want it to default to who I'm following, and then have the optional For You for the odd day that you're right. I may want to just have the capacity to care that day to check some random stuff out.
Yeah.
Well,
and commonly, I mean, there's going to be people that you would want to follow that you don't know you could follow, and the For You is going to figure out the people that you are following and try and give you more people like that. So,
but when you have that's true. But when you already follow like hundreds of people, my hope is that the people I'm following are retweeting others that I want to follow. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I'm looking through there.
So you want them to be on For You so they can find the people for you.
Sure, I want them to.
so they can retweet them for you.
Yeah. And I may have already retweeted some stuff from the For You line. So here I am like this hypocrite, and I'm like, I'm like retweeting stuff from people I don't know. So
that's awesome.
Anyway,
would you say that Twitter is your most used social media platform?
By far.
Yeah. Okay.
It is 95% of what I use, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And it has been for 10 years. Maybe.
Yeah. So if I don't count YouTube, because I work with YouTube all the time, for actual time spent mindlessly on a platform, I would say it's probably Twitter for me.
Yeah.
Facebook, I don't scroll through that very much. Usually, if it's just for marketplace, looking for,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like, and nothing against Facebook. It's just um, the information I want. I don't find very easily there.
Yeah.
Um, and then I do use Instagram as well, but it's very. I think that's kind of refined down to some specific travel topics and stuff that I
Right.
want to see. So um, yeah, I don't know. Twitter is the most useful for me for information anyway.
Yeah. For me too. It's been great, and that's why I'm hoping Twitter doesn't try it. It seems like the more that they've tried to add, it actually doesn't make it better, and it's just kind of like what Twitter was even like 10 years ago was good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So have you felt any differences on the platform since Elon took over in the last whatever month or whatever this has kind of been?
Significantly, um, maybe minor things, things I won't go into actually,
Okay.
but there's a couple things. But overall, I would say 95% no. There might be a 5%. The biggest thing I probably noticed was just people talking about it.
Yeah.
That was probably it.
Have you had any with them letting that many people go, which seems like it's through the whole tech world now, not just Twitter? Have you noticed any cutbacks that have created issues?
I don't think so. I actually think this could be offensive to some people, but I think the layoffs and cutbacks could actually benefit the platform. I think.
Yeah, it's possible for sure.
Because of the sheer number of size of engineers and people and they've had on, it may have gotten too big and too hard to. I think it could help it get back to a focus. So this is not an insult to people who laid off, but I just think that there's a time when Twitter could possibly be made with way less people than it has already.
Yeah.
So
companies become inefficient sometimes, and they need to trim off the fat, if you call it that. And to all those people who did lose your jobs, we hope that you're able to find work and meaningful work that provides for you. And we're sorry about that you did lose your jobs. It's kind of a hard time in the tech industry. You keep hearing Microsoft and Google and all these companies, Spotify, laying off people. So hopefully to all of you tech people out there, you're able to find work soon.
Yeah.
So
work you enjoy.
Yes, work you enjoy. So cheers to you guys, and keep strong and find good work.
And tweet about it.
All right, and tweet about it. Yeah. So let's jump over to the next topic. Is Google might be working on profiles for Google Messages. And I know I kind of chatted quickly with you about this, and you weren't even really sure what Google Messages was.
Nope.
So Google Messages is basically the texting platform that you can use on Android phones. It comes stock on like a Pixel phone that I'm using. I've had a Samsung phone in the past, and you can load it on there. But what it does is it basically incorporates texting and messaging or encrypted messaging in one platform. So you can send encrypted messages through chat, through the internet, and you can use it as an SMS service. So Google, it sounds like they're working on creating profiles for users in this platform. And I think that's a good way. They're kind of more like what WhatsApp's doing and companies like that. Thoughts on this? I know you don't use the platform.
No, I was just checking to see if it was even on my phone. I don't think it was even on my Android phone here. I think
okay, what brand is that? Is that
LG?
Samsung?
That's a
LG.
G6.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a bit of outdated phone there. Yeah, I'm trying to get my head wrapped around. So, from what I'm understanding, this is bringing it more in line with WhatsApp and Messenger. So part of me is just like, well, it's just profiles. It's just you being able to see who the person is.
Yeah.
But if it's bringing it closer in line with the other platforms, I think my question is, at what point, I'm kind of jumping the gun here, headed here. At what point do these companies allow each other to talk to each other and we just get rid of phone numbers?
Well, that's just it. I mean, I think the bigger topic here is not so much that Google's adding messages. Is you're right. Like, what do we even need a phone number anymore when you can make calls through the Messages app over Wi-Fi? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we were chatting. Most of the calls I get are people, telemarketers, trying to sell me stuff,
Yeah.
and people,
Scams.
yeah, yeah. So
Just in general.
I mean, I need a phone every now and then to make a call, but um, there could be a way that you could do it through a messaging app.
Sure.
There's no reason you couldn't be able to do that.
The only thing we would be missing then is just having like a data plan for like wireless data. But if you're on like a Wi-Fi already, you can already contact so many people without a phone number.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think. I mean, there's no. When will be the day that you just buy your data plan with the company without a phone number?
Yeah.
Or is just the. Are we already there? Is the phone number just the add-on to your data plan?
Right. The phone number is the add-on. It's not even assumed that you're going to get
like
one.
Here, you have one, but you don't need to. So I mean, even when we travel now, I buy like a data plan, and we can call back home or whatever through all sorts of other apps rather than having to use
pay the fee
our
through
phone
the
number.
Yeah.
So, like I buy a data plan. I actually buy an eSIM data plan, so it's still like I don't have to swap out SIM cards or anything. It's just an eSIM, and that's just data that I'm running. So
right. And I remember before the lockdown stuff, I was going down to the States a bit and getting, I forget the company, they closed because of COVID, but they, for Canadians going down.
Yeah, Roam Mobility. That was a SIM card though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would get them, and they had like a package where it had like unlimited data. So you had like so much fast data, but then like slow data. But if that slow data is just enough to get a voice out, you could just use the data the whole time and not even worry about it phoning.
Yeah. Yeah. So the interesting thing is, I'll create a hotspot with my data that I buy for my wife, and because we have what's it called, Wi-Fi calling, she can make a Wi-Fi call through her telephone number through my hotspot that I create.
Okay.
So Wi-Fi calling is a call through your phone number that goes through the internet. So I'll create a hotspot with my phone, and then she can just make a phone call.
Right, and then she's not paying any long distance fees.
Yeah, back to Canada or whatever. So if I have like endless amounts of data, I can just create a hotspot when we're driving in a car or whatever, and she can just text and call.
And is this with a VPN? Are you doing like a Wi-Fi hotspot with a VPN? Like,
no, that's through cellular, but I did buy a VPN this week. So.
We could have talked about that.
We could have talked about that. Maybe we'll save that for next week. But yeah, so I'm just going to jump back over to that article. I don't think we kind of finished it up. So the profiles, they're showing up, but they're not accessible yet in the Google Messages.
Okay.
And so I think it's likely to, it's likely to come with an upcoming update. And often this stuff rolls out on the Pixel phones first. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The other thing I do want to mention though, which is cool with Google Messages versus SMS, and a lot of people might not know that, if you are chatting through Google Messages through the chat, not SMS, it is encrypted as well.
Right.
Whereas the SMS is not. So if you want to make sure it's encrypted and that end-to-end encryption, I think that's something to think about as well. If you can.
So when we work on our secret topic articles for the next day, we can keep it encrypted so nobody knows.
We just released it over here that we're going to talk about VPN. So.
Well, this is.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see where that goes, and if we hear more about it, maybe we'll keep you updated.
Yes.
All right, let's jump on to the next one. Android 14 could block the installation of old apps. So I'm running Android 13. I don't know. I haven't seen a date on 14 yet. I'm assuming it's coming soon. Um, I hope to be one of the first ones to get it with the Pixel 7 Pro. So
I'm
yeah.
checking to see what version I'm on. I can't even remember.
This article probably affects you more than
Yeah.
me, but
Oh, that's the wrong one.
wrong article.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. So Android 14 could block the installation of older apps. So do you want to chat about this one there, Stephen?
Yeah. So I was interested in this article because it kind of is relevant to me. One of the big features for me for Android is that you can sideload applications. So even with my phone, for example, I have some older applications, games that I built that they were not in the store anymore, but I've downloaded them off of sketchy websites and I've lost the original APK, and I'll be able to like sideload them back onto my phone and still have them because of these sketchy third-party sites, which you probably shouldn't download from. But it's the risk I'm willing to take. Okay, my phone's been fine.
Especially since you made the game.
Yeah, I made the game, and as long as I know they're not injecting anything into the APK, like there's nothing fishy with it. It's my APK that I originally made that ended up on their site. Again, not with my permission, but whatever. It's just one of the features of Android is cool is being able to sideload freely. But the concern here is that people could open themselves up to malware and things by sideloading. If there's applications that could be malicious. But so I think it's reasonable to do this. There's a couple caveats. There's a caveat here though. So when apparently the Google Play Store is already requiring Android 12
for new games, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't even know what version my phone's on. So like, is my phone not going to be able to access newer stuff on the store? So I'm a little confused because apparently that came in 2001.
Well, so, Google updated those guidelines earlier this month to require newly listed Play Store apps to target Android 12 or newer.
Yeah, so that's 2021. If I saw correctly, that Android 12 came out. So that's not old.
But usually phones get an update or two, like something on 12 might have started at 10.
Yeah.
So, but still, you're right. Like, I don't know if they're going to.
So that could cut out a lot of stuff going forward. But regardless, so even if you have even then you could still download applications off the store and sideload them onto your device, even if it's like version 11, 12, 9, 8, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Google is taking some steps now to potentially, so they were already blocking stuff through the Google Play Store, but now having like at the OS level blocking a certain level of versions of the OS, older applications. So they're also saying that, but they could leave it up to device manufacturers of where they want to set that limit, like how much they want to say, nope, we won't accept anything past this version of Android. But what I'm thankful for is what I go to, though, is companies that have an in-house Android application for their business, for their technicians or something on the field, who have it built on Android 6. That's all they need, and they don't want maybe they paid like $30,000 for an engineer to program their application. They don't want to pay another $20,000-$30,000 someone to come in and update it.
Yeah.
So it just works. They don't worry about security because they built it. So what I'm happy to hear is that apparently there will still be a way for people through the terminal, through a command shell, to still sideload things. So there's still a way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I could see that really blocking out companies who don't need the security because they built the application. And that's one of the reasons I like Android is that you can sideload. And so I'm happy to hear that it doesn't seem like they're going to completely block out sideloading for older stuff. Which is,
I wonder how it'll affect, you know, how you can have the Amazon store and download apps from there onto Android. I wonder how that'll affect it as well. Are they gonna start restricting from that side?
It's a good question.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for sure. Do you know what F-Droid is?
Making F-Droid nervous? No.
I don't know what that means either.
Yoshi, you'll have to elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas
So,
says, I thought Android was meant to be open. LOL. It is, yeah. That's
but they're limiting how many years it's open for, I guess is where. And I do understand, because they're wanting to keep it secure, and a lot of people are concerned about security and losing their accounts and their accounts getting hacked, and I mean it's a big problem out there. So,
and this is an option. Sorry, in the case of device manufacturers, maybe it's because maybe they've been getting some people return the device and claiming RMA. What's the word? RMA? Because they sideloaded some sketchy app and they're trying to blame the device for malware. Maybe that's part of it.
F-Droid is a free open source store for Android apps. Oh, okay. I haven't never checked that out. I'll have to go look at it.
Well,
is it
pro
safe?
Tip. Is it safe? Yeah. You just
maybe
need
I won't.
You just need to give your SIN number and stuff to get in there, and give it to Yoshi. Okay, yeah, I didn't know about that. So Yoshi, can you install that? Could I go install F-Droid on my LG G6 and it gives me access to that other stuff or something? So, anyway.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I guess it's an open source version of like the Amazon store or whatever, right? So,
yeah. Cool.
Interesting. Well, we'll wait to hear from Yoshi if he's going to let us know. But shall we move on to the next topic and we can come back to that? Unless he's going to type really fast. Sorry, all you podcast listeners, as Yoshi's typing really fast on the other end. Or maybe he went to get a coffee and he's not typing at all. All right, well, we'll move on to the next one. So Samsung, there has been the Samsung 990 Pro SSDs. There is some reports of rapid health degradation.
Degradation.
I was going to say disintegration, but that's probably degradation?
Degradation. There's a D. I think you said a G.
I started with a D.
No, the second D you turned into a G.
Oh, degradation. Oh, whatever.
We're going to go on to some educational resources after this. Let's carry on.
So they're saying some drives lost 10% of their health in just a few weeks. And these are the 990 Pros, and not just one size, but in many of the sizes.
Right.
And some people are reporting up to, the one guy was saying a 64% health status on his 2 terabyte drive. So
right.
People are running the Crystal Disk Info as well as other, not just to Crystal Disk Info, but Samsung Magician, and others. And it's coming up on all of these testing programs.
So to add to that, the guy who reported 64% health status left on his drive, that was after only 2 terabytes of writing. Okay. So this happens when you write to the drive. It's not so much when you like read, but when you write to the drive, you're slowly degrading the drive down further. So that was only 2 terabytes, which is far, far, far from where it should be.
So let's put it this way. Before we go too far, let's say that this might be just a small issue. Yeah. I have a couple of Samsung drives and they're great. Yeah. So hopefully it's just a small issue amongst a few, maybe a batch of them or something. Yeah. But we'll see what happens down the road. Because I mean, you pay a lot of money for a drive like this, and you do want it to function properly for years and years. So
yeah, and I'm with you. I've been a fan of the Samsung SSDs and NVMe's as well. Yeah, and I would still buy them. So
I believe I have a 980 Pro, if I'm not mistaken, and a 970 Pro. I'm gonna back up and look. I have a box right here. Oh, I've got one of the boxes here. So that's the 970 Evo Plus. Yeah. It's not focusing. There we go. 970 Evo Plus. Yeah. But I've got a 9. Oh, now I can't remember what the other one is. But I do have a couple of them.
Yeah.
And they're working great for sure. So.
Right. Now, something to add to that as well is that, as this article brings up, is this possibly like an error in the software reporting through the SMART, the smart disk system? Is this some glitch? Is it even accurate to what's going on, or is this some like firmware problem?
Yeah, firmware glitch. Yeah, is there not even a problem, and it's just bad reporting somehow on the connection between the drive and the software.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because the one person had sent theirs to Samsung for an RMA and they sent it back, and then after being on Reddit, they are replacing it. So hopefully they can figure out what the problem is and get that sorted out.
Yeah, because the actually I do have hardware info. I'm just gonna check to see what my drive is at. I have an old drive, but yeah, usually if you have a drive for a year or two, I think it's normal to see it like 90 some percent. So if I find the smart for my drive for this guy, oh, maybe I don't have it here. Oh, life drive remaining. Oh, well, this one's at 76%. Would you look at that?
Oh, it's deteriorating. I have one in my external enclosure here, so I'm trying to remember. That's the other one. I'm trying to remember what is in here. I'll pop that open and have a look. Oh, that is an SSD 980 in there. So
it is.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I think that may not even be a. I think my SSD though is at 95% remaining, and I have 14 terabyte writes. So anyway, the drives do degrade, but when you if you're seeing it drop below 90% after like a month or two, that's bad. Like something's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's normal. It's normal to see wear and tear on it, but not at the speed that people are reporting right now. That's very unusual. Yeah. Especially for Samsung. They're known for having, I think, pretty solid drives.
No, that's true. That is true. So, well, maybe if we hear more on that, we can report back to you down the road.
Yeah.
Let's dive into our last topic. This is kind of a fun one. We usually try to pick a fun one for our last topic. So, last week we talked about Sony Walkmans. And this week we're going to talk about the Xbox Walkman. You might be saying, what? An Xbox Walkman? I don't know if that's the official name. That's what people are calling it. But it is a tape deck. Yes, an actual tape deck shaped like an Xbox. And unfortunately, you can't win one here yet, but you can win one in the UK. And there's a little Twitter video here. If you go to the link in the description, you can watch this gentleman unboxing his. They are, I think, like a publicity type of thing. So they do play tapes, and they come with a tape filled with tracks from Xbox and Bethesda titles, Halo Infinite, Fallout 76, and stuff like that. So, if you search far and wide, you might be able to get yourself an Xbox tape deck.
I'm trying to see if I have. Oh yeah, one sec here.
Oh, you're leaving me? Oh, there you are. You're looking for your tape deck?
Part of me wishes that like it was like a chip tune version of the songs. I got this from a little bit shout out to Planet X3. I got this when I bought a Commodore. The guy like threw this and he's like, "Hey, I think you'll like this." And it's like there's just something really nice about having like cassettes. See, that zooms in. It's just really cool. So anyways, I don't think it is chiptune, but I think it'd be really cool if all the songs on there were like chiptune versions of the.
Okay, is that a soundtrack? Is that what that is?
Yeah, this is a soundtrack for this game, which was like it had various ports. I think like the Commodore and maybe Amiga and stuff like that. Like a modern game made for older systems.
Thomas is calling it the Zune 2.0.
I can even barely remember what the Zune was. That like an MP3 player back in the day?
Isn't that Microsoft's like version of like a MP3 player that failed?
Interesting. There is something satisfying about a tape player.
Yeah. I'll bring up an image here if I can find one.
Something that I actually would like is actually a tape player, a modern one that has a lithium battery in it. That's actually rechargeable, USB rechargeable.
Okay.
So I don't because like right now I actually do want a mobile tape player, but I got to put in AA batteries, old school. So if this thing was like had like a lithium battery in or something, that actually is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. This is the old Zune that didn't make it very long that people mock.
Okay. Zune 2.0. Of course, Thomas would know it.
Yeah. So he's well, everybody likes to make fun of the Zune.
If we even remember it.
So, yeah. So if you're out and about, and especially in the UK, you can enter to win one of those. And if you watch your local Xbox websites, because there might be more coming to a draw near you, or check out eBay. Maybe you can find one on there. So the interesting thing at the bottom there, let me just pull this up. I don't know if you saw this. There was a poll that I entered, and it says, "Would you buy one of these?" And 32% said definitely, no questions asked. This is with 527 votes. 32% said probably. It would depend on the price. 4% maybe. 12% probably not, and 18% not interested at all. So
that's
most
pretty
people said
high.
they want one. Yeah,
that's pretty high. So are tape decks or cassette players going to make a comeback?
I don't know. It's the next thing after the record player.
That's okay. Okay, Microsoft could corner the market in this one. New cassette player.
Yeah.
Here's the chance.
All right, let's jump over to our question of the day.
Sure.
Our question of the day is for you or following. So if you're a Twitter user, do you use the For You tab or the Following tab?
Which is your default? Which is your go-to?
Well, the default for everyone is For You.
No, but I mean, what would be your preferred default?
Yes, your preferred default, For You or Following. Steven, we already kind of talked about this.
Following.
Yeah. I would say Following, but I often forget and go to I'm on For You. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, this is annoying. So Following for sure. Yoshi says Following. Cody says Following.
With an exclamation mark.
Yes.
I already talked about his troubles earlier.
His Following with the exclamation part is when he sees the button, he hits it 5 times.
Well, because I almost wish he was on the show with us today to explain his frustration. He's as I said earlier, he told me earlier in the week or last week that like it was enough to make him almost quit the platform because it was confusing him. Like, why am I getting this like stuff that I don't want to see?
So I kind of joke about hitting the button 5 times, but I was recently on elevators that you were supposed to hit the button every time for how many people were in your group.
What?
So you would actually, there was like a LCD screen type of thing. Yeah. And you hit the button, you hit the floor button, however many people were in your group. And then there was no buttons in the elevator. Like it would tell you which elevator to go to, and it would go straight to that floor. You couldn't change your mind in the elevator.
Oh.
Super confusing.
Interesting. Huh.
Thomas says, I didn't know Following was an option earlier today. Yes, it is an option. It's kind of, am I mistaken in saying like they only used to have Following? Like that's how it was a long time ago. It was always just this chronological timeline, I feel like.
What before this, what was happening was the Following and the For You were actually one thing.
Okay. No, but like before they had For You, like 10 years ago or whenever.
Oh, it's been from the start. It was like chronological.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
and that's where I've liked about it is I want the chronological. I want to read in time what's going on with the people I follow. I don't want it curated. I don't want it manipulated. I don't want it changed. That's where Twitter has like started, and so that's where like a lot of people want it. Don't mess with it. That's why that's why I like your platform.
Yeah.
So if you take away the reason why I like your platform, then you can lose people like Cody. Like Cody was just about to be like, I'm out of here. This is bad. There's a reason why we like Twitter. It's not.
Yeah.
So before all this separation thing, it actually was more amalgamated of like, I don't like the stuff of like, so and so. It'll be somebody I followed, but they'll say like, so and so also liked and also liked. Well, I'm not wanting to see what they also. I want to see what they retweet.
Yeah.
Retweet exists because that's when someone says, yes, I want to retweet this. Because I don't want everything that I like to show up publicly to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
It's just I don't like. I appreciate it, but I don't think that my timeline of people will appreciate that. It's like I will retweet it if I want to.
Yeah.
So that's where anyway.
Yeah. So were we wanting to we have a Diggs is back. I believe he's been on before, if I'm not mistaken.
Hello, Diggs.
What's up?
Diggs, by the way, 7.
Thanks.
How's it going? How's it going, by the way?
He's over on Twitch, so thanks for joining us on Twitch.
Yeah.
So
Twitch crew.
The Twitch crew. Did we want to talk about the Heaven benchmark at all?
Sure. Let's finish up with let's do it.
We don't have a title screen for this, but
this is a bonus article.
This is a bonus. It's not even an article. It's a bonus pictures.
Yeah.
So, some of you might know I bought a Intel Arc A770, and I finally got it installed because I've been building my PC very slowly. And there's been a lot of bashing on the speeds of the Intel Arc, but recently they've done some driver updates and things, and I kind of just wanted to share my results of the Heaven benchmark versus the 3060 in the exact same PC, because a lot of people have been saying they're getting crummy results with this. So you'll have to ignore the glare in the screen. So this is the Intel Arc A770. So this is an Intel i7-13700K with 32 gigs of DDR5. And so the FPS I got was 334.2. This is in the high settings. And a score of 8418. Now the interesting one here, and you pointed this out, was the minimum frames per second was 50.9.
Yeah.
And the max was 644. So
yeah.
Let's just go with the first two just for argument's sake. So 334 and 841. In the exact same system, running the 3060, it drops all the way down to 237.9 and a score of 559.92.
Yeah.
So
big difference.
A big difference. Like, I don't know what that is, a 40% upgrade, or I don't know the math, but so that's this exact same system running a 3060. Now I did pull up my old benchmark on the Ryzen 7 5800X as well, and it was very close to these numbers. I think I showed you that picture there yesterday.
Right.
So there wasn't a big difference between the Ryzen 7 5800X and the
it's GPU bottleneck.
i7. Yeah, exactly. So I was pleasantly surprised with that.
That was bigger than I had. So I was thinking that the 3060 and the A770 were going to be much closer. And they may have been much closer before the recent driver updates that Intel did with their DirectX stuff.
And that's what I was going to say is I did watch some videos of people who have done this with their Intel Arcs, and they were getting lower results than this and not as happy with them. But I think the recent... I'm running the beta drivers that just came out just over a week ago.
Yeah.
And I'm getting really good results with that. So,
well, what I'm thinking you should do, almost if you're interested in doing it, I almost think you should go check the older drivers and see if you can find where it jumped to this change, because that might be a good video for you to do on like a short being like.
So on the Intel website, it's only showing the last one, which is the beta, and the one that came out like a few days before that. It's not showing the older drivers. I mean, I'd have to go search around and see if I could find them, but I don't really want to install the older drivers
from some sketchy website.
But yeah,
to Selfpedia.
So do you know about the drivers? Do you want to explain what the problem was? Like why, or do you know at all about that? Or
well, we had talked about that before. I'm just trying to remember. was it DirectX 10 or 11? But because like they've been good for DirectX 12 drivers, but they've been struggling to like how much do they focus their drivers on older DirectX APIs like 10 and 11, and I can't remember if it was 11 they really bumped up or 10. I can't remember, but it significantly improved performance for the older DirectX drivers. So the Heaven benchmark is DirectX 11.
Okay.
So, and that might be why there was a huge jump from before that driver update. About, was it 2 months ago that happened?
Yeah, I feel like the initial one was a couple months ago. But I think, so a lot of people, the problem people were having was with older games not performing well. The newer ones seem to perform quite well. It was the older ones, and hopefully this is fixing some of those issues.
Yeah. Okay. They improved DirectX 9 performance is what they really updated, but there may have also been improvements to other DirectX layers as well. It's interesting how they've done it. They're utilizing, if I heard correctly, it's even part of like what Valve or Steam was using for stuff, maybe for the Linux layer. They're like injecting. They have their drivers for DirectX, but then they'll like use like this other layer where it's more faster, like it's emulated, but this really faster layer. And then anyways, it's kind of neat. But that might have been where you've seen videos before to now. There could be a significant difference, which is very interesting because I was thinking that the 3060 and the A770 were kind of more close, and that's not close.
Yeah,
at least in that test.
So, I mean, hopefully with more drivers, I think if it becomes more stable, that more people look into buying a GPU. I know you are missing out on a lot of the NVIDIA perks of RTX voice and that kind of stuff, but hopefully more of that stuff will come to the Intel one as well, because I think if they can get it dialed in and working really well, it's good value for the money.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I would say, especially for media content creators. The Intel GPU seem to have good support for encoding, decoding.
Yeah.
But if you need,
I haven't had much time to play a game with it. I did jump into a quick game of Battlefield 2042 on high settings, and it performed really well with that.
Right.
But I haven't had a lot more time than that to try it out. So.
Right.
But yeah. Well, why don't we wind it down there, Stephen? Somehow I thought we'd be done in 20 minutes today, and we're still pulling up on 50 minutes. So what happens again at 100 subscribers?
Yeah, so at 100 subscribers, we're looking to upgrade our 720p feed to a 1080p feed. Yay! And looking for ways to like bump up this the quality of our content a little bit. And that's one more way we'd like to do it. We've also been, so at 100 subscribers, we're looking to make that upgrade. So if you'd like to support us and encourage us to keep going with this channel, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. That's for 100 subscribers on YouTube. That's where we're counting it. So it doesn't include the other places, sorry. But anyhow, that's what we're looking to do. And 1,000 subs, 1440p. Well, we'll see. We'll see if that's even an option on the table. But Thomas is asking there.
Yeah, so. I don't know. 1440p streaming is... It's not easy. It's a lot on the bandwidth. So we'll see.
One more thing, though, before we finish off. We've also been playing with doing evening streams instead of morning streams. So that's a thing that we're still playing with, and we haven't fully decided yet on what we'll be doing there. But that's a thing in the works as well. So
So
we'd like to match time. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh, I appreciate everyone who's joined us here today, and especially all of you who stuck through the whole thing or watching on the replay or even on the podcast. Thanks for watching and listening over there. So we do appreciate it. Yeah. Anything else you want to say, or are we done for the day?
No, I think that's good for today.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And until next time, have a good week. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.